It all comes down to one word for me, and that's teamwork. And the best way to describe teamwork is take each one of those letters that spell it out individually and define it like this. You have the T, which is tactful,
Yeah.
E, which is employment, A, acknowledging, M, which is morals, W, which is wisdom, O, which is one-to-one, R, which is respect, and K, which is kindness. And
Wow.
that's what it's all about when you form a union and do what we have done.
There's a union in our land. There's a union in our land. Where I'm bound. There's a union in our land. There's a union in our land. There's a union in our land. Where I'm bound. Ain't no bosses in that land. Ain't no bosses in that land.
Well, actually, I'm vice president of the Homecare local, and we are people who go into the home and take care of the elderly and disabled.
Well, that sounds like pretty good work. You recently did become a union, didn't you? Local 99.
Yes, we had our union election in December of last year.
December 2001.
Yes, and we won by a 92% majority.
Wow, that's a statement.
Well, yes, it was the largest union election in the state of Oregon ever.
Hi, I'm glad everybody came out, and as you all know, if you're home care workers, we did get a signed contract with the home care commissioners in the state of Oregon.
And there's a contract in that land. There's a contract in that land. There's a contract in that land where I'm bound. There's a contract in that land. There's a contract in that land. There's a contract in that land where I'm bound.
Well, I think it's been very interesting. I'm real new at this, and I found that just the voting and the process that we went through to vote our delegates was real interesting for me.
We got a 40-cent raise July 1. We get,
I saw it on my paycheck. How many of you seen it?
Yeah.
Paychecks.
Well, when I came up, when these gals came up, they came up and said, when they found out who I was, they said, thank you. They shook my hand and said, I seen it on my paycheck, so thank you.
Well, the most important thing for me is to have, it's going to be a bargaining group so that we can have a contract, so that we can be real employees. Because right now we get our paycheck from one person, from the state, but yet our employer is each individual client. And so this would put the state as our employer, and we'd have a contract, and it gives us some respect. It gives us health plan. I have a son with medical costs are more than I could afford a month. So I have to stay under the income limit. So I could work more, but I can't because my husband and I, we have to keep under the income limit so that we can stay on Oregon health plans so that my son's medications are paid for.
April 1 of 04, we get health insurance, which is a big plus for each and every one.
And workman's comp.
Workman's comp.
We're coming right in the middle here because that's where it'll be warmest, I think.
Yeah.
And as Wes said, if people just circle around, it'll be a lot easier to sing along and hear. Thanks for having us. First up, we come out to the West Coast about twice a year. Julius, my younger brother, 87 years old this year. We're from New York City.
I'm from Pittsburgh.
Wonderful.
Absolutely, for our first contract in the state of Oregon, in the crunch that Oregon is in financially, we have got a wonderful, wonderful contract. And you know what? In 2 years, maybe we'll have a different one, you know? Maybe it'll be a little bit better. We just have to keep, we just really have to keep our hopes up, and I am so proud of each one of you guys that's come out here today, because without every one of us taking care of those people, where would they be? Actually, where would they be? We have saved the government billions of dollars with home care.
Before we get started, we're going to play some music, and when we do it, we're going to all get in kind of close around George and Julia, so I'll introduce them in a minute, because it's a lot more fun to be close when it's cold out and sing some labor songs. I want to tell you that of the folks who are here, there are some people here with Oregon Action right now. Would you hold your hands up? Okay. Are you all familiar with Oregon Action? Do you know who that group is?
Yeah.
Okay. Oregon Action is a statewide organization and certainly very active here in Southern Oregon. Work on lots of economic development kinds of issues that poor folk are working on. Right? Is that a good way of describing it?
Living wage, affordable
Social
houses.
justice. Here's something that they are working on. The city of Medford refused to pass, even to have a hearing on a living wage ordinance. So we are now going door to door and gathering signatures. I think it's important that home care workers know about that work that's going on by Oregon Action. Some of you might want to help out with the signature gathering that gets done.
And Sally, why don't you tell us a little bit about how long the contract took to negotiate and how that process was?
10 months. We started April of last year.
April 15th.
April 15th, Jeannie and I got reined into this thing.
Actually, I raised my hand to be a phone tree captain. And Rebecca said, oh yeah? I didn't know her at all either.
And so we've been at this since April 15th of last year, and the contract went into effect July 1.
Actually, 14 months and 1 day, and the day we signed the contract was 14 hours at the table. So we put a lot of time in. We weren't the only ones, though.
There are about 20
There's all
of
us.
us. There was
there's a
about
lot of
20 of us that consistently came to the meetings month after month,
Right.
sometimes twice a month, and stayed for 2 or 3 days and listened to the state go, oh, we have no power. Oh, we have no authority to do this. Then why are you bargaining with us? And we also were there at the table, and we told these people how it really works out here in the real world. Because they sit in their little offices thinking it works in this perfect little world, and it doesn't work that way outside of their perfect little office. And they got some real eye-openers, and things changed.
So if you have any interest as home care workers in helping out, and I know you got all your work to do too, but Oregon Action's a good group for that. The other thing really I want to tell you is I want to introduce George and Julius. Here they are. Julius is from, they're both from New York. These brothers sing labor songs, and they've come all the way from New York to sing some labor songs for us. And I think we'll turn it over to them now.
And we want you to sing along because you'll catch on to the words very fast.
We have some of our own songs, and we love to do the classic labor songs, which have in many cases been adapted from wonderful old church spirituals, turned into organizing songs like this one. Come go with me to that land, come go with me to that land, come go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come go with me to that land, come go with me to that land, come go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land, there'll be freedom in that land, there'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land, there'll be freedom in that land, there'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There's a union in that land, there's a union in that land, there's a union in that land where I'm bound. There's a union in that land, there's a union in that land. in that land. Ain't no bosses in that land. Ain't no bosses in that land where I'm bound. There ain't no bosses in that land. Ain't no bosses in that land. Ain't no bosses in that land where I'm bound. And there's a contract in that land. There's a contract in that land. There's a contract in that land where I'm bound. There's a contract in that land. There's a contract in that land. There's a contract in that land where I'm bound. So come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land where I'm bound. So come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound.
So that they would know our goals, and we would be able to reach out to a lot more people, and they would know that our needs for care providers are so necessary for lots of different elderly and for disabled people. I just feel that it's very important that we as a unit is able to speak up our voice and let the whole world know that we really do need to keep a union for our home providers.
Thank you for adding your voices to that song. It certainly helps us. Well, you know, we want to stay with that theme of come and go and welcoming those of you who are new to the union movement or recently got involved in this in the last 6 months or a year that it took you to get your contract. It was over a year, they said, to get your negotiations settled, apparently, right? That's a long time to hold out. And what you should, I hope, take out of this experience is that people stood by you while you worked hard to get your contract. Remember to stick by other union folks. Being union is not just your own shop and your own contract. It's beeping when you pass a picket line on the street and not going through the gates of a struck plant. And being there for other people when they need you.
Later this winter and on into next year, the Jackson County employees are going to be going into bargaining, and as you probably have already become aware of what a struggle that is when you go into contract negotiations, that it'd be great if you could support them. We certainly saw what it took to get a contract for the home care workers and for the state Department of Administrative Services and for the higher education workers. It's going to be real tough for Jackson County too. So we'll be calling on you to help them out. So that's all I have to say.
It will give us some respectability as a group, because there are people out there that care, but they don't know what to care about. Mm-hmm. And we want to get our voice heard. And we care about our jobs, but we also care about the people we work for. And their needs are very important to all of us, because we wouldn't be in this business if we didn't care about the clients.
So my brother Julius, a budding young songwriter at about the age of 80, 81 when I met him. He's now been writing songs and recording with me for about 4 years now. He's going to sing you one of his welcoming songs called Come and Join the Union. You want to tell him why you wrote it?
I wrote it as a simple trade union organizing tool. George and I were up at IBM was having trouble with their employers about pensions, and we went up to support them. And George wrote a wonderful song for the IBM workers, and I wrote a general, simple trade union song, and here it is. Come and join the union, fight for higher pay, fight for shorter hours, that's the union way.
That's your line.
Stand up to your bosses, however tough they play. Workers stick together, that's the union way. Women and men united, like solid rock we'll stay. Don't let the boss divide us, that's the union way. Black, white, brown, and Asian, unite, we workers say. Come and join the union, that's the union way.
And let me tell you something, you want to see something very, very impressive, really makes you real proud of what you do, after all these years of never having anything, no contract, no workman's comp, no taxes taken out, no health insurance, very little money, is to go to Washington, D.C. and see nothing but a sea of purple. And we're all there, and we're lobbying. It is so impressive because you know what? We used to not have a voice. We are the biggest union. We are the biggest, and we've got the loudest voice. And believe me, when we speak, all of us, they listen!
Well, I think that the nation needs to know that due to the fact that the majority of our people are becoming elderly and they're going to want to stay in their homes instead of going into nursing facilities, that home care is going to be one of the up-and-coming professions in the future because people need to have the dignity and stay at home where they're safe, they feel safe, they're more comfortable, and they certainly have a better lifestyle and a more fulfilling life than being warehoused in nursing homes.
Possibly we could inspire other states to do what we have done. The elderly and the disabled, they need care. They need to know that people, we haven't forgot about them. I've been in state and federal prison environments that have better environments than they do have for the elderly and the disabled.
Wow.
And that is a real crime right there. Growing old and getting a disability is not a crime, and we shouldn't make it a crime. We should help these people through it and going into their homes, allowing them to live their lives, helping them to focus on all of their abilities, to get out into this world and do what they can. That's what it's all about. We don't want to be putting them into nursing homes, locking them away, institutionalizing them. That's not right. They're not criminals. All they did is they got older and, health care or a health problem came up.
Come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land. Come go with me to that land.